Nightmares finally came to pass. Came to an end. An arrest stop in western Maryland. Federal, state, and local authorities arrested D.C. snipers John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo after a calculated yet uneventful approach on their blue Chevy Caprice. Tonight, ABC 2 News' Brian Kubler visits with two local law enforcement officers to tell the story of the capture and explains how the devil truly was in the details.
Because this is what did it all.
For 32 years, now retired Baltimore City officer Jim Snyder tried to do all the little things right.
This is who he is. I stopped him.
Even in the midst of the biggest story of his career.
To help stop a killer who has expanded his hunting ground into D.C., Virginia, and nearby Prince George's County.
The video may seem dated now, but the memory of that month back in 2002 is far from faded. 10 people killed, 3 critically injured. The targets as unsettling as the act. Gas stations, buses, schools. The DC sniper paralyzed life inside and out of 2 beltways, putting everyday life on hold.
You just had to live through it to really appreciate, what you'd gone through that day, just going to get gas.
Snyder didn't just live through it, he worked it. As a patrolman in the Northern District, he chased his fair share of white box trucks and misguided leads from the massive multi-jurisdictional manhunt. But it would be in the details where he would find the devil. A Chevy Caprice parked at this gas station at Sisson and 28th Street, blocking the door where he knew the restaurant got its delivery. The windows fogged, clothes piled up in the back, even what he thought was a rusted out hole in the trunk. The time, 2:30 in the morning.
So you didn't think much of it?
No, it's just a random stop. He wasn't wanted for anything. I ran all checks that were humanly possible, And
you had no grounds to check further?
No. And that was October the 8th.
Muhammad's story made sense that night, and there was no legal grounds to go any further but to ask him to move. A simple but recorded stop that ended up in the national database, later providing key information that 2.5 weeks later would solve the case.
This right here was his name and everything, or the car, and information why he was stopped. And this is what they used to verify. This is physical evidence that he was here.
What you're looking at is the written version of the verbal warning Snyder gave Muhammad that night in Baltimore City. As you can see, it's just a couple of lines of information, but it was this simple piece of paper that was able to put an end to all that terror and leading authorities to a parking spot in a rest stop 1 hour due west of Baltimore City.
That whole approach, probably the longest 30 seconds of my life.
State Police First Sergeant Keith Runk commanded the federal and local SWAT team that approached Muhammad's Caprice. The feds developed Muhammad as a suspect and, because of Snyder's ticket, knew what car they were looking for. Early in the morning of October 24th, it was spotted here at the rest stop off Interstate 70 in Myersville, Maryland.
I was familiar with the rest stop.
Familiar with the location, Runk began to brief his team, drawing a crude sketch much like this one to plan the attack. After 90 minutes of practice, intelligence, and shutting down roads, the team of 6 approached.
There was no reaction. They were emotionless. Dead stares, didn't say a word. They were just, Muhammad put his hands up. He was in the back seat. He was removed from the car, and then Malvo was in the front seat, and he was removed from the car. And the whole time that we had him in custody, there was not one word spoken, and no emotion displayed. I mean, just a blank stare.
That blank stare is what Runk cannot forget to this day. The look of a cold, calculated killer who the feds say was poised to carry out shootings in the Baltimore area next. A surprisingly peaceful end to a massive manhunt. One that 10 years later, both local officers say ended with simple police work and precision execution.
It was all basic, good police work. Yeah, and that's what solved the case.
You do the little things, and that adds up to big things, He did the right thing, because a lot of people would have just maybe disguised information, not bother writing it down, or, yeah, you look okay, see you later, But if you do the right things, and, there's a reason why you should do the little things, and that's why they add up to big things.
Like the takedown of one of the most fearful serial sniper teams in history. Brian Kubler, ABC2 News.